Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back. My name is Natalie. If this is the first time you're watching my videos, I hope that if you enjoy what I share here on this channel, you can subscribe and share with your friends and family. So in this video, we're going to talk about one of the biggest transits happening in 2023, Jupiter. So Jupiter is going to change sign. Jupiter will officially leave Aries and enter Taurus on May 17, 1:20 a.m. Hong Kong time. And Eastern time, it will be May 16, 1:20 p.m. So adjust the time according to where you are in the world. Jupiter is going to leave Aries, enter Taurus to bring in a new energy for us to work with in the next 12 months. So Jupiter, in true Taurus fashion, is going to enter Taurus and stay in Taurus for a solid 12 months until next year, 2024, May 26, without retrograding back to the sign before or dipping into the sign later on in between. So personally, I feel like when Jupiter was in Aries the past year, from May 2022 until right now as I'm recording, Jupiter and Aries energy gave me this feeling of Jupiter is really asking us, inviting us to get in touch with our relationships with ourselves more, because Aries is that energy of I am. It is about the sense of self. It is about our own individual self, right? Nobody else. And having Jupiter there for the past year, the energy is really asking us to get in touch, get really connected with our own self, right? Focus on ourselves, who we are, who do we want to be, and what do we truly desire in life. What kind of life do we want to live, and what inspires us, what lights us up, what brings us joy, what really set our soul on fire, right? That really strong Aries energy is being magnified by Jupiter. And we probably by now, hopefully, we will all have a better relationship with ourselves, right? Who we want to be, our hopes and dreams, our desires, what define us, what make us us individually, right? And now that Jupiter is leaving Aries, going into Taurus, the energy is inviting us though, okay, now that you know what you know about yourself, it is time to ground them into reality, to really commit to what you were thinking about, right? And we're also doing some little bit sifting and sorting with Jupiter and Taurus as well. We're going to see everything that we know about ourselves, right? The past year with Jupiter and Aries. Now that we're going to see, okay, so what do I want to keep, right? What is worth my effort, energy, time, and everything to invest in? What can grow? What can evolve? What can materialize? And we'll keep those and continue to grow them and plant them and water them with Jupiter and Taurus. Also, take a look at your own natal chart. See which house is ruled by Taurus, because now that Jupiter entered Taurus, Jupiter is going to start off a new cycle in your Taurus ruled house. So 12 years ago, in 2011 to 2012, Jupiter was in Taurus. Think about what happened back then, especially, of course, in life in general, right? What happened during that year? Did anything maybe grow, or anything that you started that got materialized during that year? And now after 12 years, after Jupiter been through the other 11 houses, you might have experienced some growth in different areas of our life. And now Jupiter is back in your Taurus house and going to bring in more energy to this house. So whatever you have been maybe starting, planting, growing during that time, 12 years ago, Jupiter is here to kickstart a new 12-year cycle for you as well. So you can think about this way and see what might come up for you. What can you expect during this coming year when Jupiter is in Taurus as well? So Taurus is this sign that talks about our physical body, right? It talks about our senses, and it talks about Taurus rule money matters too. It's a Venus rule sign. It talks about stock market. It talks about real estate properties because it's connected to Mother Earth. So it talks about the physical things, right? The material things that is on our earthy plane. The money matters as well. Talk about earthy matters as well. So it talks about food, agriculture, our weather. Very much is all Taurus related, and it talks about the food system, right? Which we all care about a lot, especially nowadays. I mean, we always care about it, but I don't want to go into details. I will go off a tangent because I feel certain way about it. But you know, the food system, the whole thing, right? And so Jupiter being in this Taurus sign, this Venus rule sign, I feel like as a collective, we might see some interesting trend during this coming year with maybe something related to our senses, everything that I just talked about. Maybe perhaps we'll see some interesting, cool trend regarding to food and beverage, right? Regarding to maybe even there's some kind of new invention about food, right? It reminds me of, you know, craft beer that was so popular that came out during the last Jupiter in Taurus transit, and it reminds me about Cronus, how it came out, right? I don't know if that came out during that transit as well. I will have to double check, but something like that, right? Something interesting might come up. And we can also talk about other things. Maybe this is about beauty trend, maybe hair related, skincare related, beauty related, luxuries, because we're talking about Jupiter being in a Venus sign, right? Taurus. So it talks about indulgence, luxuries, right? It talks about also food industry. So we might see some new trend or new invention around those themes. It talks about our body. So anything related to our body might, you know, come up as well. Maybe body related business, right? Things like that. So it will be interesting to see what kind of new food and beverage trend or beauty trend might come up. So we can expect that to happen this coming year as well. As always, I like to remind every one of us that all planets, all energies, they all have the yin and yang. They have the light and shadow attribute. But of course, Jupiter being traditionally in astrology being the benefic planet, it's usually associated with everything good, right? Jupiter is the planet of expansion, growth, abundance, you know, bringing in all the good stuff. But the shadow aspect is also that Jupiter can be the energy of too much, overindulgence, over-promising, but under-deliver, right? Saying a lot and promising a lot, but when it comes to materialization, when it comes to the real thing, maybe not a lot, and that might cause some disappointment. And so we need to be aware of that energy as well. So that can be what we have to pay attention during this transit as well. I feel like during this transit, whatever area this energy is manifest into our life. Maybe this is the things that is related to your Taurus house in your own natal chart, or this might be related to one particular area of your life that you really want to experience, like growth, abundance. You want more of it, you want to put more time, or you want to get more out of it. At the same time, also be mindful with that energy. Are you being mindful with all this more energy? Are you going to putting in too much, or actually not being organized enough and end up being, you know, wasteful as well? Because we do want to be mindful, as this Taurus energy can be related to our Mother Earth, our food supplies, agriculture, you know, currency, and so on and so forth. So that might be some factor that play into this transit as well. So be mindful with which area you're experiencing this energy as well. I want to bring our attention to an aspect that is going to last quite a little bit, about maybe a couple weeks or a week or so, right after Jupiter enters Taurus, because this energy can be quite intense, powerful, and overwhelming for some of us, especially if we have a lot of energy, planets, and points in the fixed sign being Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And especially if you have any planets or points in the first couple of degrees, 0 to 2 degrees in those fixed signs as well. So right after Jupiter entered Taurus on 16-17, depending where you are in the world, Jupiter is immediately squaring Pluto in Aquarius, which is right now retrograding also at 0 degrees, and also conjuncting North Node in Taurus, which is at 2 degrees, and oppose South Node in Scorpio at 2 degrees. And in 3 days, on the 20th, Mars will enter Leo, 0 degree, and by that time we will have a very strong and powerful, intense push and pull energy aspect happening up in the sky. The fixed energy is forming a fixed Grand Cross energy. So we have Jupiter and North Node in Taurus, and of course not exactly aspecting, but we also have the Sun, Mercury, and Uranus in the later degree in Taurus as well. And then we have Mars that just entered Leo, and then we have the South Node in Scorpio, and then we have Pluto retrograding at 0 degree in Aquarius. So all these energies are in 0 degrees, right? And then we have North Node and South Node conjuncting and squaring, opposing them at 2 degrees. So this is a very intense, powerful, fixed Grand Cross energy. So I'm heavily fixed, so I am feeling that energy, and this energy can be very overwhelming for some of us, right? And so pay attention, see if you have those energy, see which houses are governed by all these fixed signs, because these houses are experiencing some intense energy. It feels like a push and pull energy. So because we have Mars opposing Pluto, right? Mars is in Leo, Pluto is in Aquarius, and they are opposing each other at 0 degrees. This opposition between Mars and Pluto can manifest into a pretty rough, intense energy, right? It's very fiery, it's very powerful, and sometimes in astrology we see them manifest into violence, into you know, a dark, shadowy energy. There's definitely powerful power dynamics and struggles between them, and it tend to be more of a dramatic, violent side. Of course, I hope we don't see some really crazy bad news in the world, but the energy is showing that. So as a collective, we might really see some crazy news during this time. And we also have Jupiter in Taurus, right? Jupiter in Taurus is squaring Mars, squaring Pluto, and opposing the South Node in Scorpio. So this is magnifying all this energy, right? If we just look individually, Jupiter squaring Mars in Leo, this is very bold, powerful, enthusiastic energy, like let's do it, let's go for it because I want to, right? My heart really wants to take action and I just want to go for it, right? And then we have Jupiter squaring Pluto, and that is like a very powerful empowerment energy as well. It's like, you know, I'm feeling it and I'm like going for it, but this is also a very ruthless energy as well. So combining all of them, and with the North Node, South Node being there, there's an element of fate as well, right? It's kind of out of your control. It will just happen. So as a collective, it feels like that some crazy news might just come up. Maybe the government, some government or some country leaders might make some pretty big, bold, risky moves or changes or announcement and so on and so forth that might cause some, you know, disaster or violence. I pray that will not happen, but the energy calls for that. So we'll just have to be mindful and see what comes up. Individually, you might also feel this. You might also feel like there's some area in your life you might really want to move forward, you want to take action, but at the same time you might also experience some pushback. It's like you just can't do it just yet, or you really want to do something but something external is stopping you, right? It might not go as well planned. It might not go as smoothly as you want it to be. Some of you might feel this in a stuck way, right? You might feel like something or an area of your life feels stuck. You don't know how to move forward, and there's this like internal anger that's boiling. It's like, oh my God, what should I do? Like, what can I do? And maybe some of us is feeling very impulsive and just want to take action. So the advice for this energy and this fixed grand cross energy, while we're feeling it, you know, definitely around right now, until probably May 23, 3rd or 4th, right? So this whole week or so, let's say 10 days, you know, because we're feeling this energy before and after too. So these 10 days, beware and be aware of your energy, right? To see what comes up, I will advise in the mix of this energy, the safest point is sit in the middle, right? Sit in the middle, sit with yourself, see what comes up for you, right? What happens for you. Don't react right away. Take some time, take a step back, take a step back and just adjust the situation before you react, right? You want to respond. So take your time, try to cool down, and maybe you'll see this energy manifest, you know, people around you might experience this energy and you might be seeing that happening. So just try to take some deep breaths, slow down, see what comes up, try not to be reactive. This is my advice for the next 10 days, okay? So yes, very, very intense right away after Jupiter entered Taurus, but there's helpful energy to come in and help smooth it out as well, because later on we will have the Sun enter Gemini to kickstart Gemini season. That will happen on the 21st. And when the Sun enters Gemini, the Sun will trine Pluto in Aquarius and sextile Mars in Leo to soften the energy, right? And Gemini being the sign of twins, of communication, you know, ideas. The Sun in Gemini might bring in helpful communication, might bring in new insight ideas to help you smooth it out. So maybe whatever you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed with, the sun in Gemini in a few days will bring in some helpful energy. Maybe this is by talking out with a friend, seeking help from people around you. Talk it out, right? Communication. This is very Gemini. You might have options, very Gemini, right? Being the twins. So give yourself a few days to cool it down to see, because helpful energy will come in and help you move through it as well. Come back to our Taurus house a little bit. In our own natal chart, our Taurus ruled house has been really busy and quite noisy since 2018. Well, because 2018 Uranus entered Taurus. Uranus is that sudden shift, revelation, so Uranus coming into the Taurus house definitely kick us out of our comfort zone, bringing in maybe some sudden changes, shifts, realization, revelation, energy for us. So your Taurus house has not been the most Taurus-like things to be consistent, to be steady, to be solid, to not have changes. Is a fixed earth sign. It doesn't like changes, right? But Uranus, since 2018 coming in, is like, let's do this, let's change up this, let's kick you out of the comfort zone, right? We have to experience some shift and changes. Perhaps this is how we redefine our comfort zone as well. And after that, we also recently have eclipse season, right? That happens in 2022, in the beginning of 2022. So since 2022, last year, we have experiencing some eclipses happening in Taurus house and also the opposite house, Scorpio, bringing in some maybe faded changes, faded beginnings, ending, shifts and changes in that area of our life, in that Taurus house again. And most recently, we also experienced, we just came out from that Mercury retrograde that happened in Taurus. And the reason why I'm talking all about this is because they're all related, okay? Because Mercury retrograde in Taurus that just happened in April 21st to May 15, it is really significant, okay? Because Mercury retrograde from 15 degree back to 5 degree of Taurus. And guess what? Jupiter will later retrograde in Taurus as well in September 4 to December 30th. And Jupiter will retrograde from 15 degree in Taurus back to 5 degree in Taurus. So you see where I'm going? It's the same exact degree points where Mercury was retrograded. So this 15 and 5 degree points, these 2 degree point are really hot spot. If you have any planets or points there, you're really feeling it, okay? And I can tell you I'm feeling it because I do have points and planet there, okay? So I'm the proof of it. And somehow when you link them all together, pay attention, see what happened for you during this Mercury retrograde and Taurus transit between April 21st to May 15, because chances are something in your Taurus house or an area of your life or something in your life in general, you're doing some back and forth, right? Maybe you have to go back and readjust, reevaluate, redo, rework certain things the past month. And Jupiter now come in to give you some supportive energy to continue to work through it, right? Perhaps to give you more supportive, helpful energy to grow it, to materialize it, to make it happen, maybe to bring in some opportunities and so on and so forth. And later on in fall and September, Jupiter will retrograde again from this 15 to 5 degree points. So during that time, during that Jupiter retrograde, take time to slow down, to reevaluate, to see what's been happening for you, right? In your Taurus house or in any area of your life. That Jupiter retrograde transit will allow you to slow down and readjust, reevaluate. Do you want to continue to grow these the plans and the project, whatever is happening? Do they need readjustment? Did you bite off more than you can chew? Because we do have Jupiter energy that tends to bring in some drama, bring in some intensity, tend to over promise and under deliver. Do you need to change? Do you need to make some adjustment? So during that time, it is the time to do that, for yourself in that area of your life. So see what comes up for you, and feel free to comment below and share with us as well. It'll be interesting to see what happened. So of course, as time goes, there will be other transit aspect happening with this Jupiter in Taurus transit, and we'll definitely talk about them as time comes closer. But this is what I really want to share right now with you all, so you can make a mental note and kind of see what happens for you a little bit down the road. So this is kind of what I want to talk about right now for this Jupiter in Taurus transit. I hope that this Jupiter in Taurus transit will bring you some growth, expansion in any area of your life, and I hope that it's good and smooth for all of you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!